We've already covered the new magic items contained within Baldur's Gate Descended to Avernus. So now, let's talk about all the new monsters. So if you want to know what those are and a little bit about them, stay tuned. So something interesting that I wanted to showcase here that I noticed actually in a previous video, but I forgot which one, but it actually came up in the magic item video where you guys were saying, well, what about the Blade of Avernus? Because I went off the appendices contained in Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus to decide what new magic items to go over. So if you actually look here at the appendices D for the new creatures, that doesn't contain nearly even close to all of the new creatures included in this book. For example, a couple things people know that's contained within Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus would be stat blocks for, say, Archon the Cruel, which is not contained here. They've heard of the Abyssal Chicken. It's not contained here. So those, which I think is foolish, and it's against kind of, and this isn't a D&D Beyond thing, this is a Wizards of the Coast thing. In previous editions, any new monster would have their stat block in the end of the book. And it would say in the beginning, refer to, it would basically refer you to that appendices. This book, however, has stat blocks scattered throughout it, and then also an appendices, which I think is ridiculous. This was kind of like, I think it was Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, might have been, where there's no appendices for magic items. So you have to actually flip through the entire book to find them. There's no quick reference unless you use something like D&D Beyond. So let me show you. You can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4. The Cultists of the Dead 3 is a bunch, but you can see these, and actually a handful of these, most of them actually, are not original to Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus. Like Yinagu and the Tressim and the Redcap and a bunch of these base ones are not new to Descent to Avernus. They're from other books. But if we click over here and go on D&D Beyond and filter the monsters by the source Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus, you can see there's 3 pages. There's a bunch more to go over. But, for instance, again, Abyssal Chicken, Abyssal Wretch, these were not listed here, which seems silly, so we're going to have to do it this way. It's the only way we're going to be able to go over all of the new monsters contained within. So, you can see here if it says Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes or something else out of the Abyss, we're going to skip those because those were originally, again, Mordenkainen's was the Abyssal Wretch, but you get my point. This is where it was originally from. So we're only looking for things with Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus. So here is our Abyssal Chicken, and we want to click on the details page because we can see the cool art of the Abyssal Chicken. So they're carnivorous, temperamental, tasty bottom feeders native to the Abyss. They beat their leathery wings, which those are wings if you didn't know that, to scare predators and help them run faster, and they taste like fatty chicken. With your permission, a character who casts Find Familiar spell can henceforth choose to conjure an Abyssal Chicken instead of a Raven. So obviously they're not too crazy. Challenge rating 1/4, 13 AC, 10 HP, which is actually significantly more than a Raven. I don't think we have stats in here for a Raven, but 30-foot movement speed, 30 feet flying, but it has the bad flyer feature. Resistance to cold, fire, lightning, immunity to poison, blinded, the poison condition, and has blind sight to 30 feet. So right off the bat, I feel like we're already beating out the Raven. It falls at the end of its turn if it's airborne, and the only thing holding it aloft is its flying speed. And it has multi-attack, can do 2 attacks, one with its bite, one with its claws, and they both do, bite does a d4 plus 2, claws do a d6 plus 2. Again, if it's a familiar, I can't attack, but it's just beefy for a familiar, although the limited fly speed is sort of a detractor. Alright, so next we have Amric Vanthamper. So one thing that I've gone over in the past, and is a really cool feature of a lot of other things, is the pronunciation guide. Where normally right here, there's like a little speaker, and if you click on it, it'll actually tell you how to pronounce it. I think it's just plain stupid. If you know a book is coming out, and you know you're going to release it on D&D Beyond on the same day, why do you not have the pronunciations already input? Because that is how people can figure out what the canonical way to pronounce certain things is. And again, this Vamper is not a very hard one to pronounce, but you get my point. This is out. It's officially published. And I don't know if we get notifications like, oh, by the way, the pronunciations for these have been uploaded. Another little issue that I have. Second son of Duke Thalmara Vanthamper of Baldur's Gate. We're going to see there's a handful of Vanthamper NPCs. Human, lawful evil. Oh, he has his charisma modifier to his AC and his leather armor. Oh, he has suave defense. What an ability. Is wearing light or no armor and wielding no shield. His AC includes his charisma mod. Nothing crazy. He's a roguish type. Although he doesn't get sneak attack. He just has a dagger, 3 dagger attacks, which is 3. D4 plus 4, and he can hurl a smoke bomb once per day up to 20 feet away. It explodes on impact, creating black smoke that fills a 10-foot radius sphere. Strong wind disperses it. The area is considered heavily obscured. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's give Amric. Alright, so I guess we're gonna... Oh, I guess I probably should have stated at the start of this that there will be spoilers. So Zariel herself is included in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. However, Archduke Zariel of Avernus, this particular version, which I'm not sure what that L stands for, but this particular version is unique to Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus. So let's take a look. Challenge rating 26, 580 hit points, 150 foot fly speed, 21 AC. Her stats are bananas. I mean, she's an Archdevil, or Archduke, I guess. Plus 16, intelligence saving throw, wisdom plus 18, charisma saving throw, perception is a plus 16. Resistance to fire, radiant, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magic attacks that aren't silver. Immune to cold, necrotic, poison. Immune to charmed, exhausted, frightened. Dark vision to 120 feet. Speaks all languages. Telepathy to 120 feet. She can see in magical darkness. Her weapons deal an extra 8d8 fire damage. She has innate spellcasting, alter self at will. Detect evil and good. Fireball invisibility on herself only, and wall of fire at will. Blade barrier, dispel evil and good, and finger of death 3 times per day. 3 legendary resistances. Advantage on saving throws against spells and other magic effects, and she regens 20 hit points at the start of her turn. If she takes radiant damage, that negates it, similar to, I guess, a vampire. She attacks twice with her flail, and once with Metallotalk. I can always screw this up. That's the one magic item we went over. She can substitute Horrid Touch for Metallotalk. The flail does 2d8 plus 8 piercing plus 8d8 fire. Metallotalk does 2d10 plus 8 bludgeoning plus 8d8 fire, and when she hits, it emits a burst of cold energy that does 3d6 rather, to each creature within 30 feet. Horrid Touch recharges on a 5 to 6. She touches one creature within 10 feet. They must succeed on a DC 26 con save or take 8d10 necrotic, be poisoned for a minute. While they're poisoned in this way, they're also blinded and deafened, and the creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of their turns, ending the effect. She magically teleports along with any equipment she's wearing or carrying up to 120 feet. And 3 legendary actions. One is the teleport ability, the other one for 2 actions is Immolating Gaze. Turns her gaze on one creature within 120 feet, commands it to combust. Target must make a DC 26 wisdom save or take 4d10 fire damage. Only benefit of that is no damage on a successful save. But yeah, this is way more powerful than the Zariel contained in the other book. What else? Next up, Archon, the Cruel. Joe Manganiello's character appeared on Critical Role. His Dragonborn Paladin here, wielding the Hand of Vecna. So he has 23 AC because he has Obsidian Flint Dragon Plate, the really cool magic item, and a shield. 221 hit points, 40 foot movement speed. Wisdom, saving throw plus 5, charisma of plus 9. I'm surprised they're not giving him the Paladin aura that adds charisma to all of his saving throws, though. Oh, excuse me. Resistance to fire, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magic. Immune to frightened. That's a Paladin ability. Dark vision is 60 feet. Can see invisible creatures out to the same range. Aura of Hate. While he's incapacitated, he and all fiends and undead within 30 feet of him deal an extra 4 damage whenever they hit with a melee attack. He has the Hand of Vecna. 8 charges, which he can use to do the following: Finger of Death for 5, Sleep for 1, Slow for 2, and Teleport for 3. He can cast Animate Dead, Branding Smite at 4th level, and Revivify 3 times per day. Gives him Raise Dead once per day. He wields Fane Eater and the Obsidian Flint Dragon Plate. The armor gives him advantage on saving throws, on ability checks and saving throws made to avoid the ending or end the grapple condition. Makes 3 attacks with Fane Eater, which is a D8 plus 12 slashing, or D10 plus 12 wielding 2 hands, plus 2d8 cold damage, which is unique to the weapon here, not in the actual weapon if you have it, just in the stat block. The target is a creature. An Archon rolls a 20 on the attack roll. The creature takes an extra 2d8 necrotic damage. An Archon regains any amount of hit points equal to the necrotic damage dealt. And he has a Javelin that also deals the extra cold damage, which is unique. And it doesn't actually say, if it's overwhelmed with opposition, he orders the Abishai to attack. He can also use a bonus action to summon forth a Sojano, a Chimera, layering in the depths of the colossal dragon skull. Use Revivify and Raise Dead to bring people back, which is not listed in his abilities. Oh, wait, they are. Never mind, I lied. But they don't actually give him the unique abilities. I don't see them anywhere for the Hand of Vecna. Unless that's where the extra 2d8 cold damage is coming from, possibly. So after Archon, we get Bell. Bell, I'm still trying to figure out what these L's are. Second in command and former leader of Avernus. Asmodeus has instructed Zariel to accept Bell as her advisor. Bell and Zariel loathe each other, so we have a previous Archduke. Challenge rating 25, so slightly weaker than the Zariel in this book. Lots of hit points, 364, flash speed of 60 feet, 19 AC. Bunch of all the best saving throws, Dex, Con, Wisdom. Ooh, excuse me again. Resistance to cold, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magic that aren't silver. Immune to fire and poison. Poison condition immunity. True sight to 120 feet. Telepathy to 120 feet. A fear aura. Any hostile creature that starts its turn within 20 feet must make a DC 23 wisdom save. Unless the save succeeds, the creature is frightened until the start of its next turn. Innate spellcasting of Detect Magic and Fireball at will. Dispel Magic, Hold Person, Mirror Image, Mislead, Raise Dead, Teleport Wall of Fire 3 times per day. And then Imprisonment and Meteor Swarm once per day. 3 legendary resistances. His attacks are magical, and he has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. 3 attacks, 2 with his greatsword, 1 with his tail. Greatsword is 10-foot reach, plus 16 to hit. These numbers are crazy. 46 plus 9 slashing damage, plus 66 fire. If it's a flammable object that's not being held or worn, it catches fire. The tail is a 10-foot reach, a 3d10 plus 9 bludgeoning. They must succeed on a con save or be stunned. That's a huge combo opener. Legendary actions. Fireball for 1, Tactical Edge for 2, roll a d6. The number rolled in the die is subtracted from the next attack roll Bell or any of his ally makes. Wait, what? Tactical roll. The number rolled on the die is subtracted from the next attack roll made against. Sorry, there we go. Bell or any of his allies. Or 3, summon a magically summon an ice devil with an ice spear within 60 feet. And I guess he could just do that every turn. That's what you get when you're Archduke. Seems in some cases he's almost more powerful than Zariel in that respect. Alright, so now we're going to get into, so this is the Black Gauntlet of Bane. This isn't anything crazy. There are a lot of Dead 3 based cultists. The Dead 3 being, I think, Bane, Cleric, and Baal, I want to say. So this is a Black Gauntlet of Bane, which is a challenge rating 6 devoted follower of Bane. Looks like it's just a human, right? Chainmail, 16 AC, 51 HP. While within 5 feet, the Black Gauntlet makes an attack roll or saving throw. It has disadvantage. When a hostile creature is within 5 feet, it has disadvantage on the roll. Creatures that are immune to frightened avoid this. And spellcasting in the form of Guidance, Sacred Flame, and Thaumaturgy, Bane, Bless, Cure Wounds, and Guiding Bolt. Blindness, Deafness, Hold Person Silence, Sending, and Spirit Guardians. That's pretty powerful. It has advantage on all ability checks and saving throws made during combat. That's fantastic. Ability checks and saving throws during combat. And multi-attack makes 2 attacks with its mace, which does d6 plus 4 plus 3d8 necrotic. And then it has this interesting set, like they spelled out Guiding Bolt down here. First level spell requires a spell slot. Well, it's weird that they just spelled out that one spell, but none of the others. Like, alright, interesting. A bone Welke. Large mollusks, so clams, that adhere to excrete an adhesive to attach skulls, bones, and other detritus to their bodies for protection. This is what it looks like. It's like a bone snail. Challenge rating a quarter, AC 12. Adhesive. It can cause medium or smaller objects to stick to it, or creatures it touches grappled by it. Sorry, I don't know why I can't stop yawning. When the bone Welke dies, it emits a blood-curdling shriek. It can be heard out to a range of 120 feet. It causes non-magical organic material within 10 feet to rot. Each creature within 10 feet must make... Oh, no. No, it must not make anything. Each creature within 10 feet takes 2d8 necrotic damage. And it's a snail, so it can climb on all surfaces, like spider climb. And has bite attack for 1d8 piercing. Alright, now we have Yunagu's. We're going to have to open this one. Yunagu's demonic pet. It's pretty disgusting. Look at this thing. It's like a big distended stomach creature thing. Resembling a gigantic mud skipper with teeth, fur, ears, and the laugh of a hyena. This unique demon can hold smaller demons in its gullet and disgorge them anywhere Yunagu wishes. So that's basically the main thing. And it's got this immunity to the river Styx. It's this big deal. Challenge rating 14, 15 AC, just shy of 300 hit points. Got a swim speed, which helps if you're trying to cross the river Styx. Resistance to cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magic. Immunity to poison. Immunity to charm, frighten, and poison conditions. Dark vision to 120 feet. Can breathe water or air. Has advantage on saving throws against magic. Its attacks are magic. It has that secure memory feature. It can jump 60 feet long jump and high jump 30 feet without a running start. Has a bite of range of 15 feet, does 10d6 plus 9 piercing, and it can disgorge allies, which recharges on a 6. It opens its mouth and disgorges 1d4 Balguras, 3d6 gnolls led by 1 Gnoll Fang of Yunagu, 66 Dretches, or 1d3 Vrox. Each creature it disgorges appears in an unoccupied space within 30 feet of its mouth. So that's pretty crazy. This would also be absolutely terrifying to fight. Alright, we have the Death's Head of Baal. Challenge rating 5. Another Dead 3 Cultist. So it's got an aura of murder. As long as it's not incapacitated, hostile creatures within 5 feet of it gain vulnerability to piercing damage unless they have resistance already. That's pretty powerful. Advantage on saving throws against spells. Clearly, we have a dagger if we're going to provide you vulnerability. One stunning uses its stunning gaze and makes 2 dagger attacks. Well, the stunning gaze you probably use first. Choose 1 creature within 30 feet that must make a DC 14 Wisdom save or be stunned. And then you can attack them with your dagger for a D4 plus 5. And reaction is unstoppable 3 times per day. It reduces the damage it takes from an attack to 0. These things could be a real big pain in the ass to fight with the stunning, vulnerability, and all that. That could be pretty powerful. All right, we have another Vamper. We have Duke Thalamra? I don't know. She's the Duke, though, the matriarch of the family. Challenge rating 4. She has advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. She can see in both regular and magical darkness up to 120 feet. She is a warlock, at least in some respects. Eldritch Blast are 2 unarmed strikes. Eldritch Blast is a d10 plus 4. Unarmed Strike is just 4. And Hellish Rebuke, twice per day. They've started like outlining whether it's a spell or not, which is interesting. She's damaged within 60 feet. She can make them make a DC 14 dex save to take 3d10 fire damage on a failure, half on a success. That undo my filter? It did. Okay. Vamper. Fiendish Flesh Golem. So this is a slightly tweaked regular Flesh Golem. And I'm not sure. Does some have wings, it says, with a 30-foot fly speed. The Berserk ability of a Flesh Golem still exists. Immutable form. I don't know if this was always there. Whenever it's subjected to lightning damage, it takes no damage and regains the hit points. They usually have a fire aversion, I thought. Immunity, resistance to cold and fire, immunity to lightning, poison, bludgeon piercing, slashing from non-magic that aren't adamantine or silvered, and then immunity to charm, frightened, exhaustion, paralysis, petrified of poison, and anything that would alter its form. Its attacks are magic, has advantage on saving throws against magical effects, makes 2 slam attacks for 2d10 plus 5. I thought the Berserk was always there, so I'm not seeing too much. I think the resistances are part of it, and obviously the flight. All right, Fist of Bane, another cultist. This one's only a challenge rating half, low level, 18 AC, 22 hit points. Still has advantage on saving throws and ability checks made during combat. It just has a long bow that does a d8 piercing damage, and a mace that does a d6 plus 3. Flying Dagger. This is similar to a flying sword or another animated object, except in this case it's a dagger. So its challenge rating is only an 8th. Is incapacitated in an area of anti-magic. When it's not flying or anything, it looks just like a regular dagger. Does a d4 plus 1. Nothing too crazy here. Gideon Lightward. Priest of Lathander who served El Torille and his deity proudly. Zariel saw his fervor could be an asset to her, so he sent devils to corrupt him. Months leading to the fall of, but prior to the fall of El Torille. He gave up his sanity to the devils, corrupted by Zariel. So he's a human undead. When did he die? Does it say? He died during the destruction wrought as the city was brought into Avernus. Priests wrote him as an undead creature. So it looks like he's basically a white. He regens 10 points unless he takes radiant damage. He's got a punch for 2d6 plus 4, or a withering gaze up to 60 feet, DC 15 con, or take 40-10 necrotic. And then some undead style resistances. Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magic. Immunity to necrotic and poison. Vulnerable to radiant damage. On to page 2. Alright, here we go. Hell Wasp. These things look pretty cool. Look at that. Intelligent, malevolent insect native to the 9 hells. Challenge rating 5. 60 feet of fly speed with hovering. Vulnerability to cold damage, though, and immune to fire. Telepathy, up to 300 feet for the hive mind between hell wasps. Its attacks are considered magic. Makes 2 attacks, one with its sting and one with its sword talons. Sword talons do 2d6 plus 4 piercing. The sting, a d8 plus 4 piercing, 2d6 fire, and you need to succeed on a DC 12 con save or be poisoned for a minute. While you're poisoned in this way, you are also paralyzed. Hollyphant, which is pretty cute. They're a gold elephant creature, as you can see here. Gentle stalwart creatures native to the upper planes. Good aligned deities and angels use them as messengers and helpers. Look like a miniature elephant. Challenge rating 5. Celestial creature. Fly speed of 120 feet. Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magic. Poison immunity. Poison condition immunity. Armor of invulnerability. An aura forms a 10-foot radius sphere around it as long as it lives, so that includes while sleeping. Any spell of 5th level or lower cast from outside the barrier can't affect it, even if the spell is cast using a higher level spell slot. Such a spell can target creatures and objects within the barrier, but the spell has no effect on them. Similarly, the area within the barrier is excluded from areas affected by such spells. It can use an action to suppress it or until its concentration ends. Light at will, twice per day of bless, cure wounds, protect from evil and good, once per day banishment, heal, raise dead, shape change, or teleport. Shape changes into a gold-furred mammoth with feathery wings and a fly speed of 120 feet. Its attacks are magic. Its tusks do 1d6 piercing. It can trumpet, being heard out to 300 or 600 feet, 3 times per day. It also creates a 30-foot cone of energy that has one of the following effects. Trumpet of Blasting, a DC 14 con save or take 5d6 thunder damage and deafened for a minute. On a success, half as much and isn't deafened. Normal or non-magical objects in the cone that aren't being worn or held take 10d6 thunder damage, or Trumpet of Sparkles, DC 14 con save, or take 48 plus 4 radiant. On a fail, half on a success. Evil creatures have disadvantage on the saving throw. Good creatures in the cone take no damage. We have the Iron Console. This is another cultist. This is a Bane cultist here. Challenge rating 2. Has Tactical Disciple again. And then we have a Spear. 1 attack and can use Voice of Command. So Spears does d6 plus 3 or d8 plus 3 to wield it two-handed. And the Iron Console selects up to 2 allies within 90 feet of it. Each ally can immediately use its reaction to make 1 melee attack. And what's interesting is it can use both, and Voice of Command is not limited. So you can just keep doing that. Okay, we have a fair amount on this page, looks like, still to go. We have Costachi. I have no idea. I'm going to call it Costachi in my head, but I know that's not right. Demon Lord resembles a squat hill giant with short bandy legs and a grossly shaped head. I got pretty much standard resistances and immunities for demons. 3 times per day, legendary resistance, advantage on saving throws against magic. Command in darkness at will, dispel evil and good, gate harm, telekinesis, teleport, wind walk once per day. 2 melee attacks, 1 could be a bite if you want, which does a d6 plus 10 piercing. It has that Warhammer we talked about, Metalloc, Metallotok. Anyway, the one that does the cold damage when you hit, which is replicated there. And legendary actions, 1 weapon attack for 1, charge as a move up to its movement speed for 1, or curse, which is 2. 1 creature within 60 feet gains vulnerability to all damage until the end of his next turn. Crawl, this is Joe Manganiello's Torille Death Cleric. He doesn't actually have no information. Interesting. He's got all Torille abilities. Inescapable Destruction. Necrotic Damage ignores resistance. And he has his cantrips and his spellcasting. Chill Touch, Mending, Resistance. Sacred Flame, Spare the Dying, Thaumaturgy. Cure Wounds, Detect Evil and Good, False Life, Inflict Wounds. Does have Spirit Guardians and Spiritual Weapon. Death Ward. I'm not going to read through all the spells because I'll just get bored doing it. You guys don't need to hear it. But he has some solid spell choices here. Cloud Kill, Anti-Life Shell. Create Undead. Regenerate. His claws do d4 plus 5. His plus 1 maul is 2d6 plus 6 damage. Or plus 2d8 necrotic. And he can do the Tortle Shell Defense, so he pulls himself inside his shell for boosted AC. That is Krull. We have a Madcap here. A Redcap is a homicidal fey creature born of bloodlust. Challenge rating 3. Iron Boots has disadvantage on dex saving throws. While grappling is considered to be medium, also wielding a heavy weapon doesn't impose disadvantage on its attacks. It's a small creature. Makes 3 attacks with its Wicked Sickle, which do 2d4 plus 4 slashing damage. An Iron-Bound Pursuit. It moves up to its speed to a creature it can see and kicks it with its Iron Boots. Target must succeed a DC 14 dex save or take 3d10 bludgeoning and be knocked prone. That's that. There's a little bit if you want to do a variant with the stick, since it soaks its hat in Demon Ichor. You have Mahadi the Rakshasa, who is a character I'm familiar with from D&D Live. He appears as a wealthy merchant lord. He's actually a white Rakshasa, which I'm not sure if that's a specific one in 5e. I know there was different kinds of Rakshasa in older editions that had different abilities. Vulnerability, piercing from magic weapons wielded by good creatures, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magic creatures. He's a challenge rating 14. He can't be affected by spells of 6th level or lower, has advantage on saving throws against spells and magic effects, and has Detect Thoughts, Disguise Self, Mage Hand, and Minor Illusion at will. Charm Person, Detect Magic, Dispel Magic, Hellish Rebuke, Invisibility, Major Image, Speak with Dead, and Suggestion 3 times per day. And then Banishment, Demi-Plane, Dominate Person, Fly, Force Cage, Geas, Plane Shift, and True Seeing once per day. Attacks are magic. Makes 4 claw attacks, which do 2d6 plus 2. The target is cursed. Cursed can take effect whenever a creature takes a short or long rest. Filling the target with horrible images and dreams. They gain no benefit from the rest. And remove curse can remove it, and it can summon an Erinyes once per day. Okay. Let's keep going. We should be... Where are we? Mahadi. So we have the Master of Souls. Challenge rating 4. This is another cultist. This is a Merkel cultist. First one. Cast a spell that deals damage. It can change the damage type to necrotic. That's interesting. Grave magic. Chill touch, mage hand, message, prestidigitation at will. Burning hands, detect magic, ray of sickness, shield. Darkness, misty step, scourging ray, and then animate dead and fireball. Makes 2 attacks with its flail. Silver skull flail is a d8 plus 46 necrotic, and the target has disadvantage on saving throws until the end of the Masters of Souls next turn. Chill touch, 2d8 necrotic. They can't regain hit points. And then the ray of sickness and scorching ray spells. I don't think I need to go over those. We have Mortlock, Vamper. Nothing crazy here. Tolerated by his mother, and despised by his older brothers. So Mortlock, nothing crazy. He's basically slightly stronger than normal commoner, with 2 uses of Indomitable. A great club that does 2d4 plus 4 bludgeoning, plus 2d4 bludgeoning if he hasn't taken any damage since his last turn, and then a heavy crossbow. The Necromite of Merkel, another cultist, challenge rating 1/2. Nothing crazy, has a flail, and can do this Claws of the Grave thing, 2d4 plus 3 necrotic damage out to 90 feet. This is cool, the Necrotic Centipede. There's no image of it, unfortunately, but it's challenge rating 11. Has a burrow speed, immune to fire, necrotic damage, tremor sense. A creature that touches it or hits it with a melee attack takes 3d6 necrotic damage. Its bite does 60, 10 plus 7 piercing plus 3d6 necrotic, and if they're a creature, they're grappled and restrained. And then it can choose to swallow them and deal 66 acid damage at the start of its turn, and then it follows all the other if you've been swallowed rules. The Nightblade is a Baal cultist. This is the lower level one, the quarter. Has the aura of murder still, vulnerability to piercing damage, and the Dagger, 1d4 plus 2. Nothing crazy for the Nightblade. 9, and also, can I point out again the amount that I'm going through versus what's listed in the appendices, and clearly how much difference there is for all these extra ones? 9 Fingers Keen, current leader of the guild. 9 Fingers Keen disdains flashy garb and illusion magic. Challenge rating 5, human, looks to be a rogue. Cunning action, yep, dagger thrower, adds her double her proficiency bonus to the damage she deals on ranged attacks with daggers. 3 dagger attacks, 1d4 plus 4 piercing plus 6 piercing if it's a ranged attack, and then has uncanny dodge to have the damage. We have a Reaper of Baal, again, another cultist here, Baal cultist. This is a challenge rating 2, so we're stepping up here. Vulnerability to piercing, can cast Charms Person, Disguise Self, and Sanctuary once per day. Has still the dagger, d4 plus 5. 2 attacks, and Shroud Self. Magically turn invisible until the start of its next turn. This invisibility ends if the Reaper makes an attack roll. So you could basically, once a turn, go invisible and attack with advantage. Interesting. And then we're on to the last page of new creatures, which has a fair amount. Orilsa Rail, I'm going to guess, is Kingpin of Little Kalimshan. Okay. Challenge rating 3. Looks like another rogue. Cunning action. If Rilsa damages a creature with a weapon attack, she gains advantage on attack rolls against that target until the end of her next turn, which is fantastic for a rogue. Tactical Leadership, as a bonus action, Risa chooses one creature so you see that creature doesn't provoke opportunity attacks until the end of its next turn. Short Sword does a d6 plus 4, Dagger does a d4 plus 4, and make 3 attacks. So they have like some roguish abilities, but they don't actually have sneak attack. Skull Lasher of Merkel, again another cultist. Challenge rating 1 this time. Mage Hand, Prestidigitation, Message, Detect Magic, Protection from Evil and Good, Ray of Sickness and Shield, Darkness and Misty Step. We have our Skull Flail for a d8 bludgeoning plus 2d6 necrotic, and they have disadvantage on all saving throws until the end of the Skull Lasher's next turn. And then Ray of Sickness. Smiler the Defiler, who does have picture, is a Fae. A more apt name for this Eladrin. Oh, Eladrin, okay. Challenge rating 7, so they have the Face Step ability. Does not give you any what the season is, though. Charm Person, Tasha's hideous laughter at will, confusion and thrall suggestion 3 times per day, hallucinatory terrain and Otto's irresistible dance once per day. Advantage on saving throws against spells and spell effects, carries +2 leather armor, 7 soul coins in a bag, and a +1 short sword, which does a d6 +6 damage, and she can make 2 of them. They can make 2 of them. Silvira Savikas is one of Candlekeep's foremost sages and a high-level tiefling spellcaster. Advantage on saving throws against other magical effects and has spells all the way up to level 9. More or less looks like an archmage. Maybe there's some alteration in the spell choices here, but looks, and obviously the damage resistances, but this looks like from a quick glance basically the same stats as essentially as the archmage from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Thavius Krieg. Challenge rating 1/2, no information. Is a shadow is that of a pudgy horned devil with small wings, d6 +1 damage, nothing crazy there. That was Thavius. We have Thrustwell Vamper, another one. He's a veritable shut-in. Doesn't seem to really like his family. Challenge rating in 8th, has some low-level cleric magic in Guidance, Sacred Flame, Thaumaturgy, Command, Detect Evil and Good, and Sanctuary, and has advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. Tiamat, which we have our stats from Rise of Tiamat. We have Torgar Steelfist. This is Joe Manganiello's other character, this Minotaur. Challenge rating 11, has the Goring Rush. After using the dash action, can make 1 melee attack with his horns. Librarian Recall has basically a rage ability, Barbarian Rage, but does, at the point where you get 3 damage for rage damage. Has Gauntlets of Flaming Fury and a Belt of Fire Giant Strength. Strength is now a 21. Or without the belt, it's a 21. Carries 1 soul coin. Makes 3 attacks, 2 with his scimitars and 1 with his horns. Scimitars do 2d6 +7 slashing, or 2d6 +10 slashing while raging. Plus 1d6 fire damage, and then the horns are 2d8 +7 piercing, or 2d8 +10 while raging. Traxagor is a polymorphed into an otter years ago and decided he preferred the new form to his original, and his otter form was made permanent by a wish spell. Traxagor is a otter mage, which again, very similar in spell choices, not exactly to the archmage, but also challenge rating 12. More or less the same in a lot of respects. Tressim, this one says it's a Baldur's Gate descent to Avernus. Now this one I guess is specific to this because the normal Tressim in Storm King's Thunder is a beast. This is a monstrosity. The DM's permission, a person who casts a find familiar spell can choose to create a Tressim instead of a normal cat. I don't see much difference in this. I think it's the same. Immunity to poison, can detect invisible and sense poison, but I don't know why they changed it to a monstrosity as opposed to a beast. But if this is the way all are supposed to go, you know what? Let's check. Jump over here and type in Tressim and see. Maybe they changed it completely, so now it's not a beast anymore. Tiny beast, chaotic, neutral. Alright, well, I guess it's pretty much the same. Alright, we did the Tressim. We've got one more, that's it. Older Raven Guard, who has appeared in Rise of Tiamat. They're listed in there, I think, as one of the council members. Fearless soldier who rose up through the ranks of the Flaming Fist to become its supreme marshal. Basically a high-level supreme military force leader of the town of Baldur's Gate, I believe. Challenge rating 5, multi-attack, 3 attacks, one of which can be with his shield. +1 longsword, does d8 +4, d10 +4, wielding 2 hands. It actually has canonical shield bashing abilities here, d6 +3 bludgeoning. And Older pushes the target 5 feet away. Older then enters the space vacated by the target. If the target is pushed to within 5 feet of a creature friendly to Older, the target provokes an opportunity attack from that creature. The reaction is Guardian Strike. If an enemy is within 5 feet of him, attacks a target other than him, he can make a melee attack against that enemy. And that's it. So that's it, guys. There was a little bit of a longer video, and I'm sorry for all the yawning. I wanted to make sure I got through it. But that covers all of the new monsters contained within Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. And we went through the entire book by using that search feature than just the appendices, which would have been a much shorter video, but would not have captured everything. So let me know what you guys think of the new monsters contained within Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Nothing super jumped out at me other than a couple of unique abilities, and I like to take those abilities and add them into other monsters in my campaign if I think it meets and sits well or fits that monster. So I think a lot of these abilities, are even especially like the cultist ones, where like you have vulnerability to piercing, or you're within 5 feet of the creature, whatever that. I think those would be really good to take and then adopt to your own campaign and make custom monsters that way. But other than that, I was expecting more fiends and less monsters from Joe Manganiello's personal collection, which is fine. I'm, good for him. I would love to have my creatures or my characters thrown into an official book, be canon to the world. But I don't know, I was just expecting more fiends. We saw there's the Legion devils and the Yinagu kind of demons. I would have liked to see almost like a template that you could apply to all of them that differentiates them as Yinagu demons versus regular demons, and Legion devils versus non-Legion devils. But that's just me. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you haven't liked this channel or liked this video and you like it, feel free to hit a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you want to see more D&D content, now's your chance to go ahead and just click that little button and do so. We also stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening on our Twitch channel, where there's a link in the description for that. And occasionally every other Sunday, which is this Sunday evening, we're going to have a stream. So be on the lookout for that. And I will see you guys next time.